body, she'd be climbing the walls if she couldn't confront Robin tonight. She'd have to call Julian and request samba lessons. She rang the bell. After a few seconds, the door swung open, and Jamie smiled nervously at Isaac's father. She hadn't seen Drew Graham since moving back to Birder Ridge. Body, she'd be climbing the walls if she couldn't confront Robin tonight. She'd have to call Julian and request samba lessons. She rang the bell. After a few seconds, the door swung open, and Jamie smiled nervously at Isaac's father. She hadn't seen Drew Graham since moving back to Birder Ridge. Body, she'd be climbing the walls if she couldn't confront Robin tonight. She'd have to call Julian and request samba lessons. She rang the bell. After a few seconds, the door swung open, and Jamie smiled nervously at Isaac's father. She hadn't seen Drew Graham since moving back to Birder Ridge. Body, she'd be climbing the walls if she couldn't confront Robin tonight. She'd have to call Julian and request samba lessons.
Okay, I'm not sure why it's doing that.
Jamie smiled nervously at Isaac's father.
Okay, turn that off. Maybe do this, mute this site. Okay. Okay, let's see. I've never quite done it this way. So don't see anybody on quite yet. Yes, you get to see my home. I'm gonna go ahead and share my iPad for those people that I've only had one person that has actually said, I don't even know who it is, exactly what they want to see. I haven't gotten any emails. Give me just a second. Oh, it helps if you put in the passcode correctly. There we go. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and clear this just in case I want to use it. Have that just in case I want to use it. Okay. I'm going to use this one because some of you did. This is the one that people were asking whether or not, or if I could do this, is the graphing of the lines. Sorry, I want to get and see anybody's come on to ask any questions. Not quite yet. We've got 6 minutes before anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over a couple of these things while we're waiting for some people to get on. So when you're graphing, I told my kids to write this down. The first thing is you want the Y-intercept. And we're going to graph that. Then once we graph that, I need the slope. Remembering that this direction is positive, this direction is negative. Okay, so if I look at this first one, there we go, over here. It says -16. That is my Y-intercept. So -16. So I'm going to plot that point first. So over here, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go down to -16. And I'm going to plot that point. Okay. Then the next thing it says is this is going to be a negative slope. Nice negative. Nice negative. Hola. So that's going to be a negative slope. So it's going to go negative 2/3. So it's going to go this direction, negative 2/3. So I'm going to go, I have to go up 1, 2, but I want it to be negative. So that means I have to go this direction 3 times. Okay, I would go up 2, I would go to the left 3 times. Now, could I have gone down below? I sure could have. I could have gone down 2. That's perfectly fine. But in order for it to be a negative slope, I would have to go to the right 3. And then you draw a line. And you should be using a straight edge of some sort. You should be using your ruler to be able to do this. And it should really go all the way across on both sides. Okay. So that's one thing that we can do. Mr. Escalante, is there something that you want to see? Is there something that you want to see, Mr. Escalante? And I just remembered I don't have a copy of the review on here yet. So I'm going to look for that real quick. Let's see the review. It's part 1 review. Part 2 review. Oh, here it is. You don't have anything to ask me? There are none of the ones that you're not sure on how to do? You're going to get a 100% on your test? Okay, so I'm going to go through this because somebody did ask for how do you graph? So if I have this, the number that stands alone is my y-intercept, so 0, 10. So I would plot this point 0, 10. My slope is the number in front of the x. Okay, it's positive, so that means it's going to go in this direction. So I need to be able to do up to and over 5. Now you have to be careful because these are going up by 2s. They're not going up by 1s. So if I go up 2, that takes me right here. And then I go to the right 5. 1, 2, and 5 is going to be halfway in between. Then I can go down to 1, 2, from 10 to 8 is 2, and then go over 5. Oops, I didn't mean for it to do that. 1, that's 2. This is 4, and then halfway in between is 5. Okay, go down 2. This right here is 1, 3, 5. So this would be my line. So I draw a line, making sure I'm using, oh, that was a horrible line. It needs to go through the point. There we go. And there we have it. Now, remember that if you have x equals a number, that means your slope is undefined and you have a vertical line. So I come over here to when x is -6. So x is -6 here. I'm going to make a vertical line. I'm going to make a vertical line. Sorry, I'm trying to find my Zoom window. Where's my Zoom window? Here we are. Okay, now, if you have y equals a number, oops, I didn't mean for it to do that, equals a number, that means that the slope is equal to 0 and you have a horizontal. I seriously spelled that word wrong. Sorry. This is going to be a horizontal line. So y is equal to 4. So I'm going to come up to 4. It's my y-intercept. And I'm going to draw with a ruler a line there. Okay. Not sure whichever one, what else to do other than, oh, I guess I could do this problem because it is important. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come down here. I'm not going to do the review. I'm going to come down here. We need to be able to find the slope from an equation from 2 points, from a table, and from a graph. So if I have an equation, that's the easiest one to do. So y equals 3x plus 4. Finding the slope from an equation, all you do is take the number that is sitting in front of the x. And so that is my slope. That is my slope. Okay. If I have 2 points, let's see, -3, 2, and 5, 7. Okay. If I have this, I'm subtracting the y's on top. So on top, I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to subtract them. So 7 minus 2. Then I'm going to take my x values and I'm going to subtract those. And since I use 7 first, that means that I need to use -3 first. So then I just subtract those. 7 minus 2 is 5. -3 minus 5 is -8. So my answer is -5/8. Okay. You want me to do number 2 again? You know, you could just hit rewind. You can hit rewind and it will give you that problem again. Okay, so if I have a table, X, Y, and I'm going to say 3, I'll even do -3, -1, 1, 3, 5. And my Y value, I'm going to do 12, 17, 22, 27, sorry, my brain, and 32. So in order to find this, I need to know what 12 plus what is going to get me 17. So I usually just show it like this. To get from 12 to 17, what do? We add 5. To get from -3 to -1, I add 2. So my slope is always the change in y over the change in x. So this, I should do this in different colors. Maybe I'll switch that real quick. This right here okay? And then the change in x is here. So all I do when I write this out, slope is the change in y, which was 5, over the change in x, which is 2. Now, doing a graph, it's a little harder when, I wonder, don't know if I can put in a, I think it's going to make me put it in the whole page. Maybe. I guess it didn't make me. Well, we're going to do this. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. And, nope, I'll keep that. Okay, I should have already had this ready to go. But I didn't. Okay, so let's say I'm going to use blue. And I'm going to put this point here at, this point is going to be at 5, 2. Okay. Not sure why all my I don't even know what notifications are on. And then I'm going to put this one down here at 1, -4. Okay. And I'm going to make this line right here. And I need to figure out the slope. So use this. How far up did we go? How far over did we go? So how far up? We went from -4 up to 2. So we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went up 6. Okay. Then we went over 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And again, remember that it's the change in y, so that's the rise, over the change in x, which is the run. So how far up did it go? It went up 6. How far over did it go? It went 4. Now, also remember that it's going this direction, it's puff, puff, positive. If it's going this direction, it's nice, negative, nice, negative. This one is going the positive direction. So now all I have to do is simplify my fraction, and I get 3/2. So those are the 4 ways that you're going to have to know how to find the slope. Hi, Lex. And Gage, you're here too. Sorry, my dogs are going to bark behind me. Maya Mora, shut up. Had to squirt her with some water. But those are the 4 ways to find slope. Now, using the exact same information I have right here to find the y-intercept. Okay, so find the y-intercept. We're going to use the exact same information from above. So remember if I have this equation right here, this right here is my y-intercept, and it can be written with a 0 as the x value. And then whatever this number is, it's the constant. So if I look up here, the number that stands alone is the 4. So my y-intercept is 0, 4. Okay. When we have 2 points and we're finding the y-intercept, again, we're using the same equation right here. And you already found the slope. The slope is right here. Oh, this one's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. You pick one of the 2 points. Doesn't matter which of the 2 points we pick. You're going to use one of the 2 points. I'm just going to go with the first one. So the first one is -3, 2. My slope is -5/8. All I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the x with the x value, replace the y with the y value. So my y value is 2. My slope is -5/8. My x is -3. Then I told you it's not going to be pretty. 3 and 8 don't cancel. So yeah, we've got a nasty fraction, but that's okay. Negative times negative is positive, so you get 15/8 plus b. I know, sometimes you get fractions. It's okay. I'm going to subtract 15/8 to the other side. Now, in order to actually subtract those, I have to make this into something that has the same. Okay, guys, can you send me the requests in the chat on here instead of sending them through emails? Okay. So 2 is the same thing. I want 8 on the bottom. So I multiply by 8. So that's 16/8. Guys, if you divide 16 by 8, you get 2. So 16/8 is the same thing. And I'm going to subtract the 15/8. That gets me 1/8. So my equation, that's my y-intercept. My equation would be -5/8 x plus 1/8. I didn't do this one over here. Y equals, the slope on this one was 3. Oh, we already did the equation that's up above. That's why I didn't do it. Over here, okay, I've been given the slope, but I have to look for the y-intercept. So you pick any one of these points. I'm going to pick, oh no, this one right here. That's the one I'm going to pick, 122. So if I do 122 and I do the slope of 5/2, I'm just going to replace y equals mx plus b. I'm going to replace my y value, my m value, and my x value. So 22 equals 5/2 times 1 plus b. So I get 22 equals 5/2 plus b. Okay, this 22 is going to be needing to be with the 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply here. So that's 44/2 equals 5/2 plus b. If you were to divide 44 divided by 2, you'd get that 22. So I'm going to subtract 5/2 to both sides of the equal sign. And I would get 39/2 equals b. If I was to write the slope or write the equation of the line, my slope was 5/2. My y-intercept is 39/2. Now, if you don't want to write it as fractions on this one, that's okay. You could have done 5.2. On this one, that would be 18.5. My what okay. And then last but not so, I'm going to do, I don't really have a lot of room. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this one up here a little bit. So 5, 2. So I'm going to take my y and I'm going to put 2. My slope is 3/2. 5 plus b. So 2 equals 15/2 plus b. And it's divided by 2. So guys, you can make that 7.5 to make it easier for you. Subtract 7.5 from both sides. And when you do that, I'm going to get negative 5.5 as my b value. So my equation would be y equals 3/2 or 1.5. X, remember your X every single time, boys and girls. I don't know why I wrote 3.5. It's 5.5. There we go. Because I thought that was a 3 up above. Okay, so you asked me for number 4. You asked me for number 4. Number 4. I think I just, oh no. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, but right here, this automatically tells you, because it's going through 0, 0, that this is proportional. Okay, so in order to find the kilometers per hour on this one, all you would have to do is take the 45 and divide it by 3.6. And my handy dandy calculator would get me 12.5 kilometers per hour. The independent and dependent, this is my X, this is my Y. Remember, if I have the word per, this right here is my X. So my X is talking about the number of hours. And then this is my kilometers. So write the equation. So since this is proportional, when it's proportional, the equation looks like this or like this. So we just replace what our slope is. We found it to be 12.5. So it would be 12.5 x. Okay, if Harry biked, okay, this used to have a different person's name. His average speed on a bike-a-thon, how far would he bike in 90 minutes? So X is talking about hours, but this says minutes here. So how many hours is 90 minutes? 90 minutes is the same as 1.5 hours. Maya, you're okay. So if I have y equals 12.5x and hours stands for my x, I'm going to replace my x with 1.5 because that's what hours are. That's what the time is. So I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to take 12.5 and I'm going to multiply it by 1.5 and I'm going to get 18.75 kilometers because that's what it's asking for. Okay. The next says if Harry bikes his average speed for a bike-a-thon, how long? That means it's looking for time. So that means it's looking for the X. For him to bike 32.5 kilometers. So now 32.5 is going to be my my Y value. Sorry. All of a sudden my Apple Pencil is gonna die. So I divide by 12.5 on both sides. So I take my calculator, 32.5, and divide it by 12.5 and get 2.6 hours. Okay. I know I had another question in my, give me just a second, I have to get to my email. Gage, there is a video that has me doing every single solitary problem. Is there a reason you have questions on every single one of those? Like this one is super easy. 5 is super easy because the M is the slope, the B is the Y-intercept, and all you do is write down the number in front of X for the slope and the number that stands alone as the B. Trey or Lex, do you have a question? Okay, give me just a second. I want to see if you guys have a question. You can see my obnoxious house. My dogs want to say hi to you. Huh, oh my moo. Okay. Do you have an actual question? I'm not going to do every single problem. Which one, what type of questions do you have on it? Gage, why are you not putting this in chat? So on these, all you do for the slope, it's the number in front of the X, number in front of the X. There is no X, it's the number in front of X. 8/7. 5, -7. If you look at what we wrote before, and I'm sure Mrs. Shaw taught this, anytime you have X equals a number, that means the slope is undefined. If you have Y equals a number, slope is 0. So X equals a number, undefined. Y equals a number, 0. Then Y-intercept is the B value. Okay. So -10. Now, mind you, I make my students write it as a point. X equaling a number, there's no Y-intercept because it's not going to hit the Y-axis. This is proportional, so the Y-intercept is 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, -8, or +8. I thought that was a negative sign. I believe the video for the is on Mrs. Shaw's post for the review. This one says the slope of the line that passes through this. So you find the slope. This is the exact same question, type of question I was doing earlier, where you subtract the y values. So -6 minus 4. You subtract the x values. So 0 minus 10, and you find the slope. -10 over -10. -10 divided by -10 is 1. So my slope is 1. Write an equation of the line. Well, y-intercept means it's this right here. Do either one of these 2 points right here have a 0 for the x value? It sure does. It's right here. So my b value is -6. So I just write it, replace my m with 1. We don't actually write 1. And then -6. So really it should have looked like this. Okay. How do you find the b in a word problem? Okay. I think we already did that. We did already do that. So it's just like finding the b in anything. You have to find the y-intercept from 2 points. So let me see. Let me look for this one right here. Let's see here. This was page 287's homework. Says Pedro travels on a toll road. He plans to exit the road 5 miles ahead at First Avenue and pay $1.75. Okay, so he changes his plans, travels 9 miles to Butler Street and pays $2.75. So when we set this up for the 2 points that we need to find, remember that cost or money is usually the y value. Okay, and this is usually a distance. So money per mile, so cost per mile. So if I look at the first one, I get 5, and then I get 1.75. This one I get 9 miles, and it costs $2.75. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to find the slope. Oops, that was a horrible line. So I look at these 2 first. These are my y values. 2.75 minus 1.75. Then I look at my x values, and I do 9 minus 5. So when I do this, I would get, is that 1 on top? That's 4 on bottom, or 0.25, because we're talking about money per mile. And then you just pick one of the 2 points. It doesn't matter which point you pick. I'm just going to pick the top one just to pick it. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so you just found that your y-intercept is 0.25. Pick one of the 2 points. I'm going to pick 5, 1.75. This is the x value. This is the y value. You replace the y with what y equals, 1.75. You replace the slope with what the slope is. You replace the x with what the x is, and we're trying to find b. That's my y-intercept. Trying to find that. So 1.75 equals 2.25. Is that right? That's not right. That's not 2.25. How about 1.25? Because 5 quarters is $1.25. For anybody that wanted to know how I did that. And this would get me 0.5 is my b value. And then if I was to write the equation, it would be 0.25. Now, could I have used 1/4 instead? Sure. Plus 0.5. Could have used 1/2 on that? Sure. Okay. How do you find, oh, I just did that one. So let's see. Any other ones in here? Okay. I'll do another one. Let's see. Nope. Another one with a word problem. I think it's 260. Is 261 where the other word problem is? 261. Sorry. I don't know why I'm sorry. Okay, 261. Okay. So these are the word problems. And I will clear this. We can start from scratch on this. So it says Lashana makes jewelry to sell at her craft fair. On Monday, she makes 12 bracelets. On Tuesday, she works an additional 2.5 hours and has a total of 22 bracelets. Determine the time it takes to make one. So time per one. All this means is time per one. So if I'm doing time per one, I have, this is going to be a bracelet, and this is going to be time, which is hours. Okay. So starting the day off on Tuesday, she already has 12 braces and she hasn't worked not 1 hour yet. Sorry, Maya is having a meltdown over here today. It's because I'm talking to myself. 22 bracelets she does in 2.5 hours. Okay, so then you just find the slope first. So if I'm going to find the slope first, I'm going to set up my formula. I'm going to subtract these two. So 2.5 minus 0. And then I'm going to subtract these two. 22 minus 12. So when I subtract that, I get 2.5 over 10. And when I get that, I get, don't I get 0.25? I think I get 0.25. And that's hours per bracelet. Now, do we really look at a quarter of an hour? We don't really look at a quarter of an hour. Quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So either one of these could be the answer for the slope. Okay, that's how you find the slope. Now I need the y-intercept. So I'm going to pick one of these 2 points. I don't care which one you do. I'm actually going to use blue on this one. But I like the fact that this has a 0 involved. So I'm going to do the 0. So I'm going to use the point 12, 0. And then I'm going to use hours for right now. I'm going to use my slope as 0.25 because it's hours per bracelet. And then I'm going to plug it in. So my y value is 0. My slope value is 0.25. This is 12. This is B. So, and this is going to be 4. No, it's going to be 3. Seriously, I just did that, didn't I? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. If I multiply those two numbers together, I get 3. So you subtract 3. -3. This one doesn't really even make sense, but this is how you find the equation. So it's y equals 0.25 x minus 3 would be the equation. Okay, so let me go back to the review. And let me look at what you said. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to look for it. Eight and 9. Okay. I have done number 7 a few times now. Number 8, I can do number 8. So it's y equals mx plus b. So the b value is where we start. We start at 9. Oh, we're supposed to complete the table first, sorry. So this is my x value, so I plug in my x value. -3 times -3 plus 9. -3 times -3 gets 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. If my x value is 0, the constant is my y value. Because -3 times 0 gets 0. 0 plus 9 is 9. And then plug in 5. So -3 times 5 plus 9. This will get me -15 plus 9. And that would get me -6. What's the y-intercept? The y-intercept's right here. 0, 9. What's the slope of the line? The slope of the line is the number sitting in front of the x. So the slope of this line is -3. So now we're going to graph it. We use the y-intercept first. That's the first step. So I go up to 9. And 9 is right here. This says negative slope, so it's going to go this direction. So, and that's over 1. So I'm going to go up 3 from this point. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go to the left one. Why did I go to the left one instead of to the right? Is because negative slope goes this direction. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. I'm going to plot a point. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. And if I was to go down from this point, I would go down 1, 2, 3, but I'd go to the right one. 1, 2, 3, and go to the right one. 1, 2, 3, go to the right one. And then using a ruler, I would draw a line going through these points. Now, Trey, all you have to do is have 2 points in order to do the y-intercept. So if I was to look at this one, and I'd find the slope first. So how far up did that go? It went from 60 up to 120. So that went up 60. Then this went over from 40 over to 70. So that's 30. So my slope on this is 60 over 30, which my slope is 2. But it's going in the negative direction, isn't it? Isn't this nice negative going this direction? So that's a -2. Oh, hold on. Actually going to do this right here. This is a -2. So I take one of my 2 points. This is the point 70, 60. And I would take y equals mx plus b. I'd replace my y value with what y is. It's 60. My m with what m equals, -2. And then my x value, which is 70. So I would get 60 equals negative 140 plus b. I would add 140 to both sides. And I would get 200. But that doesn't even look, I think I did something wrong. Is this the 0.70, 60? That doesn't seem right. This is the point. That went, oh, that's why. Because it starts at 30 here. And this goes over to 70. This is 40, that's why. This Grambois really messed that one up. Sorry about that, guys. That would have been 60 over 40. And that would have been 3 over 2. I was wondering about that. But I would still plug in the same point. So it's still y equals mx plus b. It's still 60 equals, except for now it's 3 over 2. And my x value is 70. 2 goes into 70 35 times. So that's going to get me 15. That's going to be 9, 10. Oh, except for that's a negative slope. It's time for my nap, boys and girls. No, 5. Oh, this looks much better. Much better. There we go. 165 is equal to b. So my equation would be negative 3 over 2x plus 165. There you go. Any other questions? If there's still time to turn in, that's not what I want. Do you have any questions on? If you want to know where you can find any video I've posted, it's on my YouTube account. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find any of the videos that I've done. Okay. So I was looking to see if anybody else had a question on there. Do you guys remember how to do these? You add up all of the angles inside of a triangle. So x plus 2 plus 38, and all the angles inside of a triangle add up to 180. So that would be 2x plus 40 equals 180. Subtract 40 from both sides. Get 2x equals 140. Divide by 2. X equals 70 degrees. And this one over here, this outer one equals these two added together. So 146 would equal 5y plus 3 plus 4y plus 8. I would get 146 equals 9y plus 11. I subtract 11 equals 9y. I divide by 9 on both sides. Let's see. 9 goes into that one time with 4 left over. So 15 is equal to y. 15 degrees is y. Was it asking for what each angle equals? Oh, it wants what, how much each angle, sorry. So if 15 is y, 4 times 15 plus 8. So that's 0, that's a 2, that's 60 plus 8. So this is 68 degrees. And then this one would be 5 times y plus 3. So that's 75 plus 3. So this angle is 78 degrees. Anybody else? Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Waiting on you guys. Any other questions? Any other questions? Hey, I guess I'm gonna sign off. Nobody else has any other questions. I'm gonna sign off. Trey, did I answer your question? Okay. Good luck. I know you'll do well if you study. I am signing off. Maybe.